So let's start with basic supplies. What you'll need is a watercolor pad. I work with cold pressed paper, which has texture to it, and I love the way it gives you that watercolor vibe. You'll also need a round tip brush and a flat tip brush. Some painter's tape or crafting tape to tape your piece down, because with watercolor the paper can bubble. You can also work with a watercolor sketchbook. You'll need 2 jars of water, one to clean your brushes and one to use for dirty water, paper towels or a cloth, a spray bottle to spritz your paint so that you can activate the pigment, a watercolor paint kit, and some kind of palette. It can be a plastic palette like this one or the inside of your painter's kit. You can invest in expensive art supplies, but when you're just starting out, it is not necessary, and that's why I posted some links in the description of some ideas and my Amazon favorites. You can also support your local art stores like Blick and Michaels. That's really up to you. Let's dive into some basic techniques. The first technique is wet on wet. So what you'll be doing here is washing your paper with water, grabbing some paint from your palette, and moving it around the page. You can drop paint onto your paper, you can swirl it around. When you're using multiple colors, wet on wet can create really beautiful effects. The second technique we'll be practicing today is wet on dry. So your paper is dry, you're grabbing some color. Here we'll use a shade of green and paint a simple stem and some leaves. You can start adding water and notice how it blends, and you can also add multiple colors. The next technique we'll try is lifting, which is one of my favorites because it's so much fun. So what you'll be doing here is washing your paper with water. Let's grab any shade of blue and paint a square. Then with a dry brush or a crumpled up paper towel or a cloth, you can begin to lift. And as you can see, you can create really cool effects like clouds. And this technique can create depth and shadows. And again, it's super fun. The next topic we'll cover is paint to water ratio. The first one we'll try is lots of water and a little bit of paint. This is a great place to start with watercolor because you can create layers. The next option is 50-50, so equal parts water, equal parts paint. And now you can see that the pigment is a little bit darker. And the last one we'll cover is more paint than water. So now you have a really saturated effect and looks great when you're creating dark shadows. Let's practice the basics of color theory. So the primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. Mixing red and yellow will create orange. Mixing red and blue will create purple. Mixing blue and yellow will create green. Tertiary colors are colors that you mix together that are primary and secondary. So a yellow-green is bright and sunny and can elevate your mood. A blue-green is refreshing and calming. And a blue-violet is a very passionate color, but at the same time, it can also feel very calming and relaxing. Thank you so much for watching this video. Just remember that painting can reduce stress, activate happy hormones, and help you to stay present. I can't wait to meet you virtually.